Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. My name's Ed and you're watching Ed's Finance, and today I'm going to be bringing to you another technical analysis video on the S&P 500. In this video, it's going to be a very important one. We're going to be talking about lots of earnings releases that have come out, lots of data that has come out today and in the coming week, but also we're going to be talking about some big market moves that have occurred today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I do trade the SPY, however, notice that there are lots of gaps around. This means we could possibly miss out on resistance support zones. So what I like to do is when I review my trading and technical analysis, I like to look at the S&P 500 USD. This includes all the futures and after hours. So what we can see at the moment is that this is a very strong resistance line. We came to the bottom of it here, we bounced off of it here to go down this big move down, and we've also came and hit it at the top of this rising wedge before we broke out below, and now we have seen a comeback to this level to retest it, and this is what we're going to be getting into on today's video. So if I drop down into the 15-minute view, we can have a look at what happened today. So yesterday we closed here at 9 o'clock with a rejection of this trend, of this resistance line, this very strong resistance line. In after hours we saw a break of this resistance line and saw a clean upward move into this 290 level, up to this 2920 level, and then when we opened today in the market at 2:30, we saw a clean rejection of this level back under this resistance support, intraday support line, and this was a very clear bearish signal to break straight below this very strong intraday support, but yesterday it was our very strong resistance level. It broke straight below, and we've also got this trend line here that we were looking at, which has been following this trend upwards. It's been bouncing off of it. It acted as our resistance line for the trend upwards recently, and we saw a break of this trend line as well. Now, the trade that you could have made today is when you saw this clean break of firstly this support line and secondly this trend line, is that you would have waited on the 5 minute. It shows a bit more clear. You would have crossed this trend line. You would have seen that this candle came and touched this trend line, and then we saw a clean rejection off of it. However, the problem with this was that yes, we had came back to retest this trend line that we had broken. However, usually the horizontal lines are stronger trend analysis, so it was inevitable that we were going to come back and test this trend line as well. So what I put on TradingView, on my TradingView idea, I brought this idea and posted it. So I believed that we weren't going to cross above this trend line, because if we crossed above, this could be seen as bullish. So it had to drag out over the whole day to get to this intersection here, and only at this intersection here were we able to then retest this level. We could possibly break above it, or realize that this is our new resistance level, and we were going to get rejected. So my trade here was get short in the market here, put your stop loss here, because if it does cross this resistance line, then this is a big sign that we will be going into a further uptrend and possibly getting new highs above this level here. So you would get stopped out here. However, I was counting that this was going to be a rejection, seeing as we had crossed 2 trend lines. So I would have shorted here. Oh, I shorted here, and then come down to these a lower low, and we'll have a look at what this did turn out like. So I would have shorted here where we hit this trend line. Like I said, it happened just after the intersection that occurred here. It came and tapped this resistance line, and then we saw a big sell-off into the close of 9 o'clock here in the UK, 9 o'clock here, and then we saw a bit of retest, and we're currently, this is all after hours from this point onwards, a lower low, a lower high, sorry, lower high, and a lower low here. So we are actually in a downtrend on the S&P 500 right now. Today we had announced that the consumer confidence was terrible. We had record drop month on month, and it had dropped to 76.4 from 166.7. This was a year-on-year drop, I think, and so also here it says 26 million Americans and counting have lost their jobs from coronavirus. So all this news is coming out. I think reality is going to sink in sometime soon, that the market is in a bit of a terrible place right now, as it's been rallying up, but the economy is in a very, very sticky situation. Also, we had the Alphabet earnings that have just come out. Sorry, here, the Alphabet earnings here, which have significantly slowed down ad revenue, but they have, so the revenue has boosted, but the earning per share, they have significantly missed. They have seen a huge slowdown on their company. This is just one company, this isn't the whole market, but obviously Alphabet, huge company. It's a giant to look on and focus on, because it's likely that Facebook is also going to be very similar to Alphabet, as they do get lots of their revenue through adverts, and if the adverts for Google are okay, then it's likely that the adverts for ad revenue for Facebook is also going to be okay, and they do take up quite a large market share of the market. So these are two companies to watch. We've also here obviously had the United States unemployment rate just absolutely skyrocket to 4.4% from lows of 3.5% in February, and we've also got tomorrow the FOMC, the Fed, coming together. They're actually in a talk right now, and they'll be making their statement tomorrow on where the economy, any big news. So this will be interesting to see what they do release, but also it'd be interesting to see their language that they use to describe the economy, to actually give an insight on where they think the economy is going to be, whether we will be recovering anytime soon, or whether it is going to be a longer process than many of us do believe, well, than the market is showing us at the moment. So lots of very interesting data being released. It'll be interesting to watch this FOMC announced tomorrow, 2:30. Powell is making the statement, so do tune in for that. Be some big news in the market, and yeah, so this could have been the high. We could see a further rally if we do manage to break this resistance. However, if tomorrow we do break this support level, then we do get a catalyst, say the FOMC announced that we have some terrible news and it's not looking great for the economy. After all, the market has been rallying tremendously in the past couple of weeks. So we are due a drop. It's just a matter of when. But yeah, that's going to conclude today's video. If you did enjoy the video, do give it a like, because it does really support the channel. It helps the channel grow. Subscribe, and if you've got any questions, as always, leave a comment. I'll be reading all of them. Anyway, see you next time. Cheers.